Whoa, Nelly! You've joined us for another episode of ArmaGEEKdon. I'm your host, the Chief. Welcome to my loft. Still here for the time being because I can't sell this goddamn house. But when I do, I shall set up a new residence with some new Swish studio if the wife will let me. Anyway, we don't care about that stuff. We're here to talk about G.I. Joe 1991 Impel cards. We covered part 1. Now we're rounding off the set with part 2. And to do that, I need another guy to help me out with that. And it's this dude. Woohoo!
Welcome to the pit, baby. It's this Sjubbinator coming at you like a 100-time ladder.
Anyway, how are you? How are you, sir?
Running on fumes, Chief. But hey, it's not to be expected, right? Surely. Young dad like myself.
But family is fine.
Family's wonderful. Well, yes and no. I mean, sleep is a thing of the past. Get it where you can, or join Chief for a little chat about G.I. Joe.
Yeah, because you should be sleeping right about now. But anyway, we covered a lot of these cards on the first part, and now rather than me holding up cards on blurry images, let's see if this works. Now we should have.
What?
Okay, fine. No, that's just me taking a picture with my phone of 6 cards, so they're probably even smaller there, but. Yeah, so after the ones we discussed, now this is card 90 or something like that. I don't know. Oh, I've lost some cards.
Didn't we do like 82 or something? Whatever.
82. That's right. No, now it goes on to special missions. I think it lists all the special missions covers.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Ooh.
Oh, is that my watch? Oh, that's my watch. I thought, what's Sjubbs doing there? We'll turn that thing off. It's my watch going off, Siri. Anyway, so these are the special missions. It's interesting because later on we get covers of key stories, but here they decided just to put the covers of every single special missions. But that's fine because these are some of the best G.I. Joe stories, I think, in the Pantheon.
One might argue that special missions, because of its brevity and just the tightness of the stories and them being one-shots generally, it's a more satisfying read than any part of the ARR run.
Yep. And do you remember any of these 6 here standout special missions for you that you can recall? I'm a big fan of that 4th one there, the Lifeline one. That's I think that's where Leatherneck is chewing him out for being a pacifist, but then on the boat he does like Aikido or something and disarms the river pirates.
True story. In the current IDW continuity, Sarawak Sally from that issue is brought back for a cameo.
No way.
Or more than a cameo. Yeah, Larry Hama has reached back in the mists of time and plucked a character from Special Missions issue number 4.
That's cool.
So I had 1, 3, 4, 5 as a child.
Right.
But of the 2 that I didn't have, they're both excellent. Men of Honor, I think we spoke about it last time we were on this.
Yes.
With Clutch and the Nazi bigwig who's hiding in Argentina, and like the Mossad agents who want to kill him. So complex. There's so much going on in that issue. Like it's very layered stuff. And all the while they've got these giant bomber with the nerve gas and airtight
stuck
and alpine
on the ice rocks.
So good. And then number 6, just Outback being amazing.
That's part of the one that crossed over into the main series where Stalker and Snowjob and Quick Kick.
The Barovia incident that never happened.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
That's a great cover. That number 6 is a great cover. And is 5, is that the one that's like, I think, Showdown, is it called? Where Shakedown was in the main series, issue 34. And this is the one with the Night Raven, where he hasn't got the emergency manual release, the breakout tool. Yeah. Like that one.
Yeah, the whole thing's told like a parable. You've got the G.I. Joes looking after their ground crew and their rescue guys and the Tomahawks, and then the Cobra guys just not giving a stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Once again, like each special mission seems to have Well, no, I can't really say each. There are some weaker special missions like some of these, but a lot of them seem to have a very clear like message that the writers wanted to convey.
Yeah.
It was well thought through stuff.
Interesting here. This one here, issue 9, has got on the back of the card Chip Toller, who must have been was he the guy who set him up or something? Lieutenant Falcon, Slipstream, and Psychout traded arms to Afghans in exchange for custody of 3 captured Soviet Spetsnaz commandos. So who's this Chip Toller dude?
We shall have to read it. But isn't this the issue where you don't see the Joes? You just have the 3 Spetsnaz or the 3 Russian guys basically do all the heavy lifting.
Possibly, can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Like Slipstream, maybe it's Chuckles, maybe Falcon. Yeah, they con these Russians to completing the task for them.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah,
a double bluff. But man,
yeah,
I think it's time for a reread, Chief.
Okay, I like that number 12 as well. Cover's not the best cover, but that's the one where they go to some air show and they have to get in the biplane, and the what's that? The Condor, is it? It flies.
Vector.
The Vector, sorry, yeah, the Vector, sorry. And it flies into some sort of junk pile ship or something.
Yeah, like a garbage scow.
That's
Look,
it. Yeah,
it's great, and I love sort of the anachronism of like using a biplane to catch a sophisticated jet. But like there were a lot of panels where, like, even if the jet was limping along, there's no ways a biplane could ever hope to catch it.
No, and I think they go under the guise of something like, it's Firefly, isn't it, or whoever steals it. Maybe he's not familiar with the controls, so he doesn't know where the go faster button is.
I don't think you could go slow enough for a biplane to catch it without stalling a jet. Like a jet would fall out of the sky at the kind of air speeds that a biplane goes. Anyways, it's the Vector. It can do whatever.
Yeah.
What's that one? Washout. Jeez,
that is Washout. Yeah, that's Mangler, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah.
So that is his one appearance.
Yep.
And there
he
is.
Should be in he should be in the sort of the memorial or the in memoriam honor roll at the end.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a bit. Yeah, you're right. They do for some reason, but that's a good issue. I know it was one covered that with Diagnostic 80 when he was on the show, and that's one of his favorite issues. He likes that one.
Well, it shows how tough Lightfoot is, and like once again, just the incredible like ethical conundrums that the Joes face on a regular basis.
Yeah. Anything else standing out here on this page? What's the one there?
There's the 3-parter. There's Esterhazy, the mission to get him in what is it, in Tibet or the mountains. You know, there's the Red Army is trying to get this guy. The CIA want to get this guy. They want to basically assassinate him. So they send him to Joe's. But it becomes a 3-parter that links up with, I think, one of the last special missions, which is Getting There, which is the one that features the Tomahawk.
Oh yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
4 special missions that link up. Terrific stuff.
That's right. That's good stuff. We move on to.
I've always found that Night Raven shooting that missile to be weird. Like that's too neat.
Just that image.
Just the vanishing point of it. Like for the missile to be so dead on like that. It just, I don't know. It's a visual confusion for me.
Everything's
put my finger on it.
Everything's too close together.
That too. Yeah.
I do like that first one. There's that top left one. What's that? That's that's Getting There. That's the one.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Muskrat's taking a nice pot shot at what we don't know this at the time, but a Russian hind.
Yeah, that's a really nice one.
Such a good issue. Personal favorite of mine was the one after that. What is it? Issue 22, 21? Anyway. Snowblind. Yeah, because I had the Cobra Wolf. I had the Cobra Wolf as a child, and I didn't have a Snowcat, so I had a Tiger Force Tiger Sting, which is a vamp. standing in for it, and I try and cram as many Arctic Joes in that thing as possible. Not many fit.
This is the one. Arriving at the frozen Bering Strait, the Joes, Snowjob, Frostbite, and Avalanche found a column of Soviet tanks led by the Russian October Guard.
Yeah. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game in the whiteout. Like they're kind of snowblind basically, and they have to use their instruments. It's almost like submarine warfare.
That's cool. That next one, I thought that was a bit of a turkey. That's the one with Spearhead Max, and they find some old coot under the sewers or something, don't they? And
who just throws his life away a little too unnecessarily.
Yeah.
It's a bit arbitrary. Yeah.
And you got the Shockwave one. That's where is that mistaken identities? That Shockwave one where who you think is the villain is actually not the villain.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Decisions. It's called.
That's it.
Yeah.
Points for featuring Shockwave. It's probably his crowning moment. That cover.
Yeah. Then we got some Joes lying in the grass, and then
Scoop. Then the weakest of the lot. This story was actually by Herb Trimpe.
Ladies' Day.
Ladies' Day.
Yeah. Now I did not, because obviously I have ranked all the Joe stories against each other that I've read, and I didn't rank it as low as I thought I did, on the basis that I took it as not being a serious issue, and I took it as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of issue, but it's not great. Don't get me wrong, it's not great.
That the cartoon series would have, like an issue or an episode to feature the ladies like saving the day in a kind of a whimsical way, like opening with them as cheerleaders really just screamed, okay, this is a break from the serious stuff that you've just come out of.
I do like the cover on this next one though.
You do?
Yeah, really like that cover.
So misleading.
That is that because they go through a museum or something, and it's like a dinosaur
pterodactyl
replica
display or something.
Yeah.
Another thing
actually quite like that.
Is very distracting about this issue is you think that it might feature the Tiger Force doing Tiger Forcey things. It totally doesn't. It's just literally a vehicle cameo. And I think, if memory serves, back in 2019 when you covered this with Chris, he made the same point. He's like, don't tease me.
Okay, yeah.
If you're going to feature the Tiger Force, feature the damn Tiger Force.
Yeah. I like that cover for the next one though. 26. No? Bit too on the nose, or?
Chief, in the hindsight of what you know now about those members of the October Guard coming back, like, does it sour your impression of this book and their sacrifice and the finality of it? We still don't know definitively what those new October Guard guys are.
That happened during the Snake Hunt arc, wasn't it, where they get reintroduced? And I thought I've long forgotten Snake Hunt, but were they not revealed as being full-on robots or not?
I don't think it's been explicitly said. I think they dropped some hints, which just smells like creative backpedaling. I'm sorry, Larry. I hope you never hear this, but yeah, no, it feels like I'm bringing back the October Guard because they were popular and they were great foils for the G.I. Joe. And so what if the Soviet Union is no more? They're still great characters, but oops, I forgot the little detail that back in Special Missions, whatever it is, 26, I killed most of them off.
Right. Okay. Fine. Yeah, that I imagine that is the case. Good cover though. I like the cover. I also like this Quick Hit cover, and that is an absolute stinker of an issue. But the cover is great.
I don't think Larry wrote this one.
No, he didn't. Jerry Finley Day or Michael Fleischer. I don't know. No, I'm making stuff up now, maybe. But a Mexican Holiday, it's called.
Didn't it have Stalker being like a total womanizer?
Yeah.
Parading around in his Speedo around the pool. Yeah. My goodness.
Good cover, though. And then the last Special Missions, I don't think the cover's that great. I can't even remember what happens in this one. It's just called Condor, I think.
So It's a massive air battle where it's a kind of a David versus Goliath situation, and Dogfight in the Mud Fighter plays a
Right.
pivotal role and takes out multiple enemy aircraft.
Okay, so
And
this is a printing error then.
No, that's Oh,
Wild
good
Bill.
job. I haven't been concentrating on the copy, but that is not Wild Bill. That is Dogfight.
Yeah.
Easy mistake to make, right?
Both got a tash, I suppose, but
the one
shades.
gives off the what is it, Ace McDuck or Launchpad McDuck? I don't know.
That's it.
There's an
Yeah.
Ace Duck from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay,
That's the vibe.
Launchpad from whatever
From
it was.
DuckTales.
Yeah.
Totally. But I mean, he's meant to evoke that kind of like World War II bomber pilot with the captain's hat and the.
You're right. Yeah. Oh, there you
Yeah, he
go.
also does
I meant to take that one out because I'd added 2 extra cards in, so it should have been that one. But now it does mean we get that one. Okay, fine. Now we're on to 1991 recruits. So I guess that means these were all toys that came out in 1991.
Oh, delight. Yes,
Okay.
they were.
Right. So Badger. Now, not familiar with the toy at all. Only familiar with this from its appearance in the comic when in the issue 121 or something like that, where the Joes are assaulting the Silent Castle, and like who's outside? Big Ben, Flint, Lady J, I think.
Jeez,
and
Chief, you remember well, buddy. That is exactly
Badger,
right.
The Badger is in that little assault with the Brawler, I believe, as well.
And the Battle Wagon.
And the Battle Wagon. Okay, but Badger, I think the art makes it look strange. It makes it look like a dune buggy that has kind of guns on it. Now, I don't know if that is a good depiction of what the toy looked like.
The toy definitely isn't that girthy.
Right.
She's had a bit of a middle-aged spread, it seems, because that's a much blockier midsection, shall we say?
Okay.
Than the actual toy. The actual toy is a little bit sveltier. The missiles look a lot more oversized on the actual toy because
does the toy also have like an antenna off the back with a Badger flag on it?
So cool. I'd say that element makes the toy.
Oh, it does have it.
Yeah, gives it a great bit of motion. The only problem is the sticker on the US release, I believe it was perhaps different on the European release, but I've got the American release, and the sticker was a paper sticker. So they tear, get the edges get all foxy and water damaged.
Okay. Right,
but yeah, it's so nice to have that flag.
Maximum speed of this vehicle in mph?
90, according to the card. Oh, you're testing me, you bastard.
Maximum range?
I just looked at the card, Chief.
All right,
this isn't going to be much fun. I think 100 miles.
Yeah, all right, fine. We'll quit that game.
That's
Sjubbs 2 for 2.
Pretty crappy range.
It's terrible. Awful.
You can go full out for just about an hour and you're done.
Okay. All right, Paralyzer. I think they've color-coded here, so blue for Joes, red for Cobras. Paralyzer. Again, the art makes this look like a pretty mean vehicle, I guess.
It lacks the key feature that I think really kind of saves it in my eyes. And that's like, do you remember when Cobra assaulted Destro's castle for like the second time? So they had a construction site next to the castle, and the paralyzers were bulldozers. Like they had removed the weapons systems and put bulldozer blades in front of them. And for the longest time, I thought maybe that was a feature that the toy had. Ah, damn it, missed opportunity. If only there was some better synergy between the comic and the toy. But on its own, it's very much a 1991 vehicle, man.
Yeah. Attack Cruiser. I have no idea. I've never heard of this vehicle before. I don't know what this is. I don't think it ever featured in the comic. So
no, it didn't. So you wouldn't have. But it is a thing. And what the art doesn't show you is that the wheelbase is not even. So the wheel that's closest to the camera is further forward than the wheel on the opposite side. Weird. Can you wrap your mind around that, Chief? I don't know how this thing steers.
So two separate axles.
Yeah.
One
wheel there and the wheel there, and then the two at the back are in line, but the front wheels are like that.
Okay,
or
for
like
the
that.
purpose of what? No one knows.
Look, the vehicle is basically built around a feature, and the feature is to launch a hollow plastic or blow molded dart, like a drone.
Okay.
It's a drone launching craft.
All right. Okay. All right.
So it's
moving
kind
on.
of ahead. It's ahead of its time, at least as a concept.
Okay. Ice Saber, again, never heard of this. What is this?
Yeah, I wonder why it never found its way into the comic book. Because it's a
And this
pretty
is-
solid Arctic vehicle.
This is what, just a one-man or two-man sled kind of thing, is it?
So it's an oversized ski-mobile, basically, but it's got a 3-person cockpit. And
Okay.
it made
they
for a
don't-
fun...
They don't ride on top of it. They actually go into their cockpit, comes over their heads.
Yeah, but it's still open on the sides. I don't know.
Oh, look, yeah, I can see him in it. I didn't see the guy's head. It looks big.
It is. And you could jam the cockpit with more than 3 guys, because the
Right.
cockpit was actually designed like a very circular cavity. Reason being, the the seating is like a turntable. You can kind of spin it so that like the guy who was kind of in reserve becomes the driver.
Okay.
So you can basically like trade places, which I don't know what the function of that is, to be honest. I suppose if you get fatigued, you can have someone take the wheel, but like
Okay.
I don't know. Here are the two we were talking about.
Yes, the Brawler and the Battle Wagon. The Brawler looks just like a box with treads and then lots of missiles firing.
It seems to be able to move as quickly as the Badger. 90 miles per hour.
Maximum speed, 50 miles an hour.
And then on road?
Oh, wait a minute. On road, 90 miles an hour. Oh, yeah, fully loaded cross country. Wow. For a treaded vehicle, that's
some pretty good going.
Wow. Big? Is it big? I mean, it says it's a 16-ton heavy ordnance unit. Was the toy, did that, replicate the 16-ton vehicle?
Isn't a main battle tank more like 60 tons?
Oh, is it? Okay.
I could be mistaken, but like an Abrams, that's a pretty substantial weight. So the Brawler would be more like a light tank.
Right.
And it certainly fits that kind of bill. I mean, it's more like a, I don't know, fire support. It's got a lot of missiles and
yeah. It says at the
smoke
bottom of
grenades.
this, the bottom of the copy, it says when it comes to kicking butt and taking down names, the Brawler's still the biggest kid on the block.
I can believe that. I mean, what is it competing with? The Joes had the Mauler, which I think it's a more realistic tank, but it is a smaller tank. It's certainly lower to the ground. This thing's quite tall.
Right.
It's big and it's silver, and the driver and gunner positions are all like kind of open. Like they have an open top. I wish it had like roofs, lids.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Battle Wagon. I quite like the design of this, apart from that big cannon on the back.
I quite like the design of this thing, except the main thing.
Yeah.
Look, it's like a monster truck. It has these gigantic tires. It
yes.
sits quite high off the ground.
Yeah,
It was
I like that.
motorized. So you could slam it into sort of a forward gear, and it would actually be able to go over stuff. Like the Mobat and the Mauler had motorized features, but like there was sometimes more hassle than good. Whereas this thing, yeah, it could master some pretty severe terrain. And what's more, your favorite feature, the turret, was also motorized. It was battery powered.
And
You
it
press
fired.
the button, spits the missiles out individually until the racks are empty.
It's interesting. I watched, because obviously missile weapon firing toys are commonplace now. Even Lego has, little shooters where you can fire off missiles from some of their craft. But I watched last night, I quite like watching Toy Galaxy, Dan Larson. He does little 20-minute documentaries on nostalgic IPs and stuff. And I watched a Battlestar Galactica one that he did. I think he did it a couple of weeks ago, and I watched it last night. And one of the reasons that got cancelled after 2 seasons was because they had a missile firing toy that a 4-year-old fired into his own mouth and choked to death in like 1980, and that basically took away all the good PR had gone, and the television broadcast studio, whoever it was, kind of pulled the plug on it, and that also led to the Boba Fett rocket firing jetpack being scrapped and just going to a single molded jetpack after that incident. So interesting that missile firing things were not in favor in the early 80s, but now they're just commonplace. So obviously we've got over that hump of children dying from swallowing small pieces.
Well, you said it, buddy. That is the reason. How tall is that little red rocket in Boba Fett's backpack?
Yeah.
It's the perfect size to lodge in a child's throat. Yeah. Whereas in the 90s, when G.I. Joe became spring-loaded missile crazy, they were all kind of regulation length. They were all about that long. Yeah.
Right.
And the battle wagon is no different. It had these long blue missiles.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's the way they found around it. But yeah, absolutely. For a time, spring-loaded missiles were out.
Okay, that's all the vehicles we got there. Now we're on to new figures for 1991. The first one, he looks great. I have no idea who this is. Never heard of him. Interrogator. First time seeing him. What is that thing on his back? It's something out of Jack Kirby comic. It's wild.
Oh yeah, those gleaming Kirby metallic surfaces and heavy inks.
Is this a trooper, or is he a unique guy?
When I first encountered him, I thought he was a trooper, and you'd have good credence for that kind of belief because he came with a battlecopter.
Right.
And when you have these kind of small throwaway vehicles for the Cobra Legions, you expect disposable troops to man them. But turns out this guy, as the name suggests, is the Cobra Interrogator.
Right.
The fact that he came with a battlecopter is neither here nor there. Like, the main prize of that set was clearly the figure, because he's an individual. He fulfills a much needed role in Cobra. I mean, you can't have Dr. Mindbender doing everything. He's already inventing bats and Cobra leaders. So
his special training just says medical school, but I don't know if that's an actual training.
School.
Is that an actual training? I don't know.
I want to get a doctorate. Can you be an evil doctor?
Incredible. And his special equipment is a helmet with voice modulator synthesizer, because of course you need to sound like Darth Vader. And
yes, and he has a Boba Fett style faceplate. It has the sort of the glass here and the glass there.
Yep. And trace-inducing LED readout. Do we know what that means?
Trance? Is it a typo?
No. Well, it could be a typo. It says trace-inducing LED readout, stress analyzer, and a retinal dilation sensor.
Okay. Well, to tell if you're lying or not, see if your pupils are dilating. Interesting. But the
trace-inducing LED readout. Brilliant. Let's just put words together in a sentence. Amazing. Love it.
Yeah, great figure though. And the voice modulator is an interesting one. So yes, he does probably sound like Darth Vader or maybe something else. But long-standing theory that a friend of mine had was that the Interrogator is actually a female.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Major altitude. I like this art. I really like this image. Just kind of the angle the artist has used, but I've got no idea who this guy is, and he's got a silly name, Major Altitude. But
I know. Why would you have your rank included in your code name?
Yeah.
If you got a promotion.
I like his chin though. He got a big chin.
So in that portrait, does he look like anyone we've encountered before?
He looks a bit gung-ho-ish, I think, in the face.
The helmet is kind of signature.
The helmet looks a bit like the who's the klutzy dude who drove the mean dog?
You're getting there, buddy.
Wild card.
Very good.
Wild card.
It's the figure had the exact same head sculpt as Wild Card. So he wore the same helmet, which makes a lot of sense for someone who's flying an exposed bladed helicopter like that. Like, you need hearing protection, definitely.
And he was on Cobra Island. He got caught in some very nasty crossfire over Cobra Island. Okay, not the Cobra Island Civil War, but just over Cobra Island. That could have been any time. Okay.
The Impel writers just going off-piste.
Sky Creeper, never heard of this guy. He looks like he's kind of gone to Ninja Force school, but at the same time strapped on some kind of backpack. Not sure. Difficult to...
Chief, you were out of the game by then. Hey, I suppose you never saw these colorful gliders at God. What was your toy store of choice? Smith's. No,
Smiths weren't around back then. That's a modern Toys R Us, probably.
Okay. And Toys R Us isn't around now. Boo.
No. I do quite like the helmet there, though. That looks quite cool.
Yeah, he belongs on a velodrome, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, been watching a lot of cycling actually this week. Snake. Oh no, I was going to say Snake Eyes, but it says Night Vulture. But that looks pretty much like Snake. If that wasn't Night Vulture written on the bottom, I would say that is 100% Snake Eyes.
I love Night Vulture.
Okay.
He's a very striking... Absolutely, he's Cobra's Snake Eyes doppelganger. But what's cool about it is, like, I know version 2 Snake Eyes has the lips molded. We like to ignore that. But in the case of Night Vulture, not only is his mouth molded, but it's like an open mouth. Like, you can clearly see he's got his mouth open under the mask. So kind of, to my mind, makes him look like he's the undead.
Well, like, it does say
kind of spooky about this guy.
They're strapped into their gliders and dropped from 10,000 feet up over shark-infested waters. So if the water has no sharks, I don't think they can operate. It's a 5-mile flight to safety, and this doesn't make sense. And only a handful of flyers make it to shore. The dropouts never bothered to complain. Oh, this is their training. They get dropped over shark-infested waters, and then it's a 5-mile flight to safety. What do they care about sharks then if they're flying? Don't understand.
Because they've got gliders, and if you don't catch the right thermals, you're not going to make your range. You're going to fall short of the 5 miles.
And the dropouts never complain because they're dead. Right, okay.
Though, like 10,000 feet, that's pretty high up. You should be able to make 5 miles. I don't know.
10. I don't know what that is. 10,000 feet. I don't know what that is in kilometers, but that's high enough to surely glide 5 miles, whatever it is.
If you went any higher than 10,000 feet, you'd need oxygen.
You need breathing
because 10,000 feet is where you start getting hypoxic.
Okay, right. Interesting. They framed this in kind of, he's in some sort of cliff entrance or rocky crags, but it looks like a mouth. It does look like teeth, and he looks like he's inside a mouth almost. Anyway,
I love your creative explanation, Chief, but actually that is the design on their gliders. They have that kind of like splash of color.
Okay. Cloud burst. So I'm guessing we're still on these glider dudes. He looks like...
What tipped you off?
He looks like he has just jumped up from the Avengers C-list team.
Him and Cool Breeze.
Yeah.
Remember Cool Breeze? Yeah. He had like a katana and he had like checks and a cybernetic arm.
That's it. Yeah, it just looks like a superhero here. I'm moving on because he's nothing special about that dude. Who is this guy? Skymate. He's got another glider dude, but a bow and arrow and a cap. Incredible scenes.
Wagga wagga, mate. He's probably got a boomerang in there somewhere.
Oh, is he Aussie? Is he?
Yeah. He's even got kangaroos both on his cap, his pink trucker cap, I might add, and on his glider. Sort of got an arrow or a chevron, or the outline of the glider design, and little pink kangaroo in there.
Yeah.
Maroon or Sheila.
Skymate grew up in the land down under, watching birds swoop and dart through the trees. It's inspiring, isn't it? Today, after years of military training, he soars down out of the sky like a bird of prey, neutralizing his enemies before they make a sound. A master of covert air assault and a seasoned martial arts expert. Let's just give him every ability. Skymate flies with the grace of a hawk and attacks with the ferocity of a grizzly bear.
Wow. Well, look,
They
true story.
got lots of bird themes going on at the end. They chuck a bear in there. Incredible.
True story. For no other reason than the fact that he came with a bow and arrow, I made him my stand-in for Rambo. Had I read this card, it would have added a lot more strings to that bow. I mean, what? This ferocity of a grizzly bear, and he's stealthy, and that's John Rambo, baby.
General Hawk. Now, I don't remember my Hawk ever dressing like this, but
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear, yeah.
The joke's been made many a times. Don't worry, Chief. I'm just catching you up, bro. Anyone watching this probably has heard the joke before. But yeah, 1991's General Hawk came with a jetpack and this like goldfish bowl helmet, which I think this art was probably based on a prototype because there are images of Hawk with a more involved helmet. But yeah, actually the final version was just glass front.
Okay. Wow. Sci-Fi
got an update in 1991, which it's going to be controversial, but I say it's superior to the original. I'd sooner have this guy than the neon green. It's very surprising that in 1991 they were kind of scaling back from some of the crazy colors from before.
Yeah, I quite like this design. This looks okay, actually.
You should see the figure. Very dark gray with a nice little bit of yellow here and there and some like jet black. Sweet.
I've gone a bit dark on the color here. Heavy Duty. He's a rock and roll ripoff, is he? A Roadblock ripoff.
He's hitting the nail on the head there, Chief. Yeah, a lot of people do say that. But
is this the guy that The Rock played in the movie? Or was he Roadblock in the movie?
He was.
Okay,
it was the other way around. In Rise of Cobra, they had a Brit playing Heavy Duty.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Right. And then in Retaliation, they had Rock playing Roadblock.
Now listen, how heavy is that thing he's holding? It looks massive.
Yeah, and in this, it looks unsupported.
It's a two-hander. Surely you got straps. You need straps on that, don't you, over your shoulders?
I think maybe the artist did away with or took creative license because the actual toy that attaches to a backpack. So at least he's carrying the weight on his back a bit. But yeah, he's kind of got his arms above it. Whereas, to be honest, you should be supporting from beneath it. I don't know. Maybe it's somehow like a Steadicam rig, just kind of is free floating.
Yeah.
But anyways,
go on.
Well, no, the joke is that he's just basically got like his DJ decks, his portable setup.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Well, it says Heavy Duty is a walking missile launcher. Well, what if he runs out of missiles? Then he's not. Well, no, I suppose he's still a launcher, but he's a missile launcher with no missiles. A pretty impressive. Yeah, right, because wait a minute. Let me cycle this back a bit. This looks like some kind of gun, like as in it's shooting projectile bullets or something, but on the back it says he's a missile launcher. Now, what does this thing shoot? Missiles or bullets? And whichever one of those two it shoots, where's all the ammo stored?
Good question. I mean, always a good question, Chief. Like, where are they keeping all the bullets for all those guns? You know, good taste would have him having just one barrel and like tons and tons of ammo for that. But no, he's got two cannons. I think there's a minigun in the middle of that setup. And then on either side, you've got launch tubes for these neon green missiles.
Okay, fine. Right. Anyway.
They've actually downsized the weapon pack in that illustration.
Okay.
Because it is a lot larger.
Right. But he's not just a missile launcher, in case you thought he was, like they say he is. But when you consider that a well-placed mortar round can turn him into a walking shrapnel bomb, you can understand why he has such a hard time making friends. So he's also like, you know, a friendly fire threat.
There's a recurring theme of that. Like, I think the joke is made on almost every single flamethrowers card back. It says like, you know, you don't want to be anywhere near this guy when he gets hit by a tracer round. So like they're never going to win popularity contests. So yeah, someone just got lazy and transplanted that.
Crimson Guard Immortal. Was not familiar with this guy until Mark did him as a Mark Talks Toys on one of the Talking Joe episodes, but wasn't.
You got to do the jingle now.
Mark talks about toys. Ho ho. He talks about G.I. Joe. He talks about all the toys from the comic book and the animated show. Mark talks about toys. Mark talks about toys. Anyway, Crimson Guard Immortal. Yeah. Do you like him or not?
Look, it's got one huge redeeming factor, and that's the fact that they carried over the same patch that the classic Crimson Guardsman has, that like triangle with the palms and the Cobra symbol inside.
Right.
They use the same tempo on this guy, so that's cool. Definitely rare to see this late in the game, like that kind of attention to detail.
Yeah.
But the weapons are weird, and that big block of silver to make up the chest is weird. But the helmet's good. The helmet's really cool. He just has very small feet. I think he and the second version of the Snow Serpent have the tiniest feet of all the classic Joes and Cobras.
Maybe they're all female.
There you go. The chest armor makes sense then. Yeah.
Incinerator. Never heard of.
Another guy who's not going to win a popularity contest.
Now, what? He's got a lazy left arm that's just dangling down by his body, and his gun seems to be shooting like a laser flame beam or something. It looks flat. It looks like a flat laser that's got fire crackles coming off the side. Now, I'm guessing by his name that is actually a flamethrower and not a laser shooter.
They've really simplified the muzzle of that thing. Like the toy was a bit more convincing as a flamethrower.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what his weapon is. It's a fluorocarbon propellant flame projector.
Cool. Fluorocarbon.
Yeah.
You have to get a chemistry major on the show to unpack that for us.
And he's also got a fire-resistant air-conditioned suit.
Oh, don't they all? It's standard. Nobody operates as a flamethrower just wearing their camis.
Yeah.
Like they did in WW2.
This is interesting. Next time you're lying in a trench somewhere waiting for Cobra to strike and you hear someone lighting a cigarette, check to make sure it's not a Cobra incinerator. Because they make exactly the same sound. Someone striking a match or using a lighter makes exactly the same sound as this thing firing up, ready to burn you up.
It's funny. I thought it was going for the smell of like
right. Okay,
a cigarette burning, but once again, those things are not going to smell the same at all.
No.
Nah.
Big Ben. I quite like that image. That's actually quite cool. Apart from the guy, again, it looks like Big Ben was standing up and he's quickly jumped into a splits pose because that guy was going to shoot his tackle off.
Yeah.
So he's dodged that.
That came very close.
This guy made a few comic appearances again in that one with the battle wagon we spoke of earlier on the Silent Castle Assault, and maybe a few other comic appearances. And I think he appeared actually quite recently, didn't he? In some of the ARA stuff.
He does a little undercover number.
That's right. Yeah. I like that one. I quite like that little whatever that storyline was. But yeah, he's from Burford in England.
Wasn't it they were checking out a revenge facility?
That's right.
He sort of blags his way in along with some other Joes who are like maintenance crew, but Big Ben's in a suit.
Yeah, he had 12 hours. Did you know on his first mission he had 12 hours to airdrop onto Cobra Island, locate an underground lab, steal a top secret formula, pass it off to a courier nearly 200 miles away. He had 12 hours to do that.
He did it solo?
Oh, he did it in 11 hours 59 minutes, which was handy. He would have made it sooner, but he had to stop for tea.
Well, I mean, the Aussies are like grizzly bears. I mean, they got to play into the British cliche. What do you think of Big Ben's white hat? Does it break the figure for you, or break the look?
No, I think you need some kind of unique identifier. Otherwise, you're just a generic army man, which is part of my beef with the current 6-inch classified figures. Like a lot of them just looks like I don't know what more you could do. And this is, I think it appeals to that audience, so it's fine. But the Cobra infantry trooper just looks like a generic just a generic army or generic terrorist guy. And Duke even just looks like a generic army man, or even the Mezco roadblock I saw pictures of, just a generic army man. It's just, but if you know, which is I guess where I like a bit of superhero in my GI Joes, I guess.
Would you back the Ultimates by Super 7? Have you seen the images of Cobra Commander?
I have seen them,
Duke,
yeah, because
Snake Eyes.
They look a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more kind of, you know, more up my street. But no, I've got no interest in collecting anything GI Joe ever again. So, no. Right, next. That's a bit harsh, really. There, I probably will.
Yeah, jeez, Chief, we can't be friends no more.
Red Star.
The Red Star.
So this was kind of a Colonel Brekov replacement, was he?
Yeah, something tells me that Hasbro were less inclined to create toys based on comic book exclusive characters. And actually, Colonel Brekov found his way into the cartoon series. So clearly, like Larry's original ideas were permeating other mediums, but they weren't finding their way into plastic at this stage. And Red Star was just kind of an analog to Colonel Brekov. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Desert Scorpion. This we spoke about this guy, I think, on the part 1 because he came with some giant scorpion thing.
He did indeed, which they've omitted in this artwork, but
they have, yes, yeah. And here they've whereas all the others have, you know, a big spiel about, you know, their training. I suppose they're all individual soldiers, but this guy literally on the back of a card, all it says, he's just got 2 lines of text, and it says special training, hostile environment detachment, and current assignment desert trooper. That's it.
I don't know if I said it in the last time we had one of these sessions, Chief, but Desert Scorpion's kind of legion is reserved for like petty criminals and like just Cobra undesirables. Like if you've washed out of your own Viper regiment, you get bumped down to Desert Scorpion.
Right.
I don't know if it's even lower than the Toxo Vipers, but it's down there.
Okay. Low light. This looks awful. Right?
Yeah, the art is not doing him any favors.
No, but the art's not good. But the figure, if the figure's anything like this, that's awful as well.
I know more than one guy who rates this as their favorite version.
Oh my goodness, disown them. And you can look at the knee pads. I mean, look, I'm quite contradictory. I say like I like, you know, a bit of flash or a bit of fantasy or a bit of superhero or sci-fi element in my figures or characters, but well, no, the knee pads don't do it for me here. The silly Cylon-esque helmet. He's grown a stupid pencil tash, which I don't think he had previously. And his hair color
has gone black.
Yeah.
Like, did he dye it because he's that dedicated to the night mission? In which case, why hasn't he got like camo paint everywhere? I don't know. The figure did have a few splotches of sort of black camo paint.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, this is the first version of Lowlights I was familiar with, so I'll always have a warmth for it. But yeah, I'm kind of, the pendulum swung the other way for me. It's like your version 1 is typically your best hit.
Yep.
And everything else is just a...
What the deuce have they done with Dusty?
Sun's out, guns out, baby.
What is this? This is horrendous.
He's going to have some tanned leather on those shoulders, I tell you.
And what is this stupid animal they've got in the picture? He didn't come with that as a pet or something, did he? He did? Oh, dear.
Dusty and Sandstorm. I'm surprised they didn't include, maybe the text size didn't allow for it, but like this version is typically billed as Dusty and Sandstorm.
I mentioned Sandstorm on the back of the card, but
he's a coyote.
Right.
Okay.
Very, very traditionally an easily tameable army friendly animal, a coyote. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Snake Eyes had a wolf. That's all I'm saying. And Spearhead had a bobcat, like a cat.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and get a cat to do what you want it to do? Please.
Yeah. Now then,
the hits just keep on coming.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Oh, sorry. Did I say I was running on fumes? I've just hit the E.
Yeah. Wait for the S. I've seen when he appeared in the comic a few times. I think late in, must have been in the 140s or 150s or something, probably. And
after
that
the
was
Emirate of Benzine. So when they were pulling out, the Destro must die story arc.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hate it there. I think that was depicted better than this particular piece of artwork, but I wasn't, a massive detractor from it. Obviously, it's not as good as either of his traditional outfits or whatever, any previous outfit, to be honest. But I don't 100% hate it, which is about all I can say.
I don't know if this artwork does him any favors. Like, it looks like he's wearing a corset.
Yes.
I suppose that is exactly cinched in.
Slim in the waist there, yeah.
It's weird. And the big old disco medallion. And what is happening with the helmet? Like, it's actually...
this makes it look like he's got a square head. Look at his jaw. It literally squared off. Incredible.
I don't think the artist really got to grips with what the design was trying to do.
Okay. Have we ever, do we know ever, it says on the back here, file name classified, 1991. Has it ever been revealed what his name is?
Some people say it's Fred.
Right.
Okay. But no, that would be Fred 7. That would be the imposter. I don't know. The name of Cobra Commander? It's whatever you want it to be, just like Snake Eyes.
Bat 2. My eyesight was playing tricks on me, and I thought that 2 was actually an H. I thought it said Bath, but it doesn't. It says Bat 2.
But wouldn't it be nice if it said Bath?
Now, do you prefer to call these characters bats, or do you prefer to call them BATs?
If I'm a stickler, which I am currently, BAT. But that's just tired to say. Okay. And actually, I have... Okay, apart from the cartoon series calling them bats quite explicitly, there is a toy that came out in 1992 called Overkill. And he had a backpack that produces voice clips. And he's the Battle Android Trooper commander. And he says, "Bats, attack!" So even canonically in the toys themselves, they call them bats. So, yeah, go for it.
I'm saying BATs. BATs are...
It's nice that it's an acronym that actually works. Yeah. Battle Android Trooper, and it says something cool like BAT.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they're programmed to search and destroy all life forms. Now, I've never seen them, like when they're in the jungle, I've never seen them trying to shoot monkeys or snakes or anything like that. So someone needs to adjust all life forms. So as soon as they come online, why aren't they killing their programmers? So whether it's a G.I. Joe, here we go. So whether it's a G.I. Joe soldier, a Cobra officer, or a jackrabbit out on a lark, a BAT will always shoot first and never ask questions later. Love that copy. It's so batshit crazy, pun intended.
Well, yeah, they just took it to 11, didn't they?
This is particularly demoralizing for our guys on the line. I mean, would you want to be viewed as the same thing as a field mouse just because you both have a pulse?
So they're using your pulse to locate you? For a second, I'm thinking, like, is it heat, like predator vision? Or is it just motion sensors, like they'll shoot anything that moves? But
Just
no,
a
it must be
heartbeat.
it's an acoustic thing, yeah. They see sound.
There you go. Snake Eyes.
Needed one thing, and that's a pop of color right on his head. The visor should be bright.
Yep.
That was his trademark. And also, check how they've gone with the two like knives, which was actually a feature from, or not a feature, was a design element from his previous version.
Yeah, on the suit, molded, weren't they?
But in the comics, he had those, like his introductory issues with this look. Also, that Destro Must Die storyline. He retained the two knives.
Right. Quick question that you might know the answer to, you might not. Someone in the comments, let me know. What's the purpose of the holes in the knives?
If I was to guess, if the blade itself is sort of broad enough, it's got enough structural strength, you might as well take the weight down by removing sections, because that's a lot of steel if it was just solid.
Okay.
Maybe it makes a cool like acoustic sound as you kind of thrust it through the air.
Yep. Tracker. Nice ass shot, but
awkward, man.
Christopher Gruen where's he from? Arizona, I think. But look at this crazy helmet he's got.
What is it? Jeez.
He's Cyclops. They always, when I was reading X-Men in the 90s, there was always this rumors about a third Summers brother, and they teased that it was Adam X the Extreme, but then that got discounted. So he could be the third Summers brother. Yeah, Tractor.
But hang on, what's his first name? Alex.
Christopher.
Okay, never mind. So yeah, there isn't a Christopher yet. So Christopher Summers.
Well, Christopher Summers was his dad. Corsair was Christopher Summers, was Scott and Alex's dad. Tracker can pick up trails that a bloodhound would have trouble spotting. He's fast, methodical, and can track Cobra on water as well as on land. That's handy. If you thought he could only do it on water, you're mistaken. He can also do it on land. That's pretty good for someone who grew up in a Midwestern town where the biggest body of water was a small creek nearly 5 miles away. I don't need your life history, pal. Add to that the fact that he can hide as well as he can track. And you've got a soldier who can give Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow a run for their money. In what? Run for their money in what?
So that's a modification from his original card, which bangs on about the fact that he was able to track and locate Snake Eyes and Spirit.
Spirit
in an
Iron
exercise.
Knife.
Yeah.
Charlie Iron Knife.
Charlie Spirit Iron Knife. All of the above. So they really bungled this guy. Like design-wise, he's a mess. But his file card trumps him up to be like a big deal.
Right.
And he's a SEAL. So he's like torpedo and wetsuit.
Okay.
Like he's the best the Navy has to offer. He came with an inflatable raft. But the figure design leaves much to be desired.
Okay. Grunt in a very strange pose. Looks like he needs a dump.
Gotta hold it in for a few more seconds.
We do know that LA is 6,000 miles away, judging by the signpost in the background.
That's across the country.
I was going to say, do you reckon they do signposts of something that's 6,000 miles away? Seems strange.
Maybe if you were in New Jersey or, on the East Coast somewhere. I mean, it looks like Jersey, that particularly disheveled part of the country. I don't know, Chief. 6,000 miles. That's overseas.
Yeah. And again, I know most of those original 13s did look like generic army men, but here is another. He just got brown slacks or orangey brown slacks, a brown jacket, a green helmet, some kind of massive torch strapped to his lapel. or a big gold medal. Maybe he's won 100 meters in the Olympics or something. But it's interesting that on a lot of copy, like you said previously on Tracker, they big the guys up to have performed feats that no one else can. But for Grunt, they say Grunt finished in the top 10 of his class. So that could have been 10th. He could have absolute, there was only 10 in the class and he finished 10th. Great. Interesting that they play down his skills or his abilities.
I guess because he is supposed to be the everyman.
He's the Grunt, yeah.
And yet he has a degree from Georgia Tech engineering. Anyway,
right.
So funny you should make light of his rather drab appearance. What if I was to tell you the action figure came with bright yellow trousers?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it happened, baby.
It did.
Believe it. It is true. So yeah, the artists chose to eschew that little detail.
Okay. I'd have preferred yellow. Mercer doesn't look like any Mercer I know. So what's his Mercer version 2?
Yeah, had a different
and his
file
head
name as well.
His head looks like almost Metalhead.
Hammerhead?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, a cross between Hammerhead from Spider-Man and Metalhead from Cobra. Just kind of the goatee, the dark hair.
Slicked back. It's a pity.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got one of the nicest head sculpts.
Yeah. When's the concluding part coming out on Joe Bird?
Oh shit. I shot 2 scenes this week.
Ooh,
but going at this rate, it'll take me about 18 weeks. I mean,
it's all written though. It's all written and storyboarded and all that jazz is done.
Storyboarded. What kind of artist do you take me for? This is all I got, man. Just the gift of the gab.
It's all there's some bits of paper scribbled around the house with notes on about what you're going to film. Is what I meant.
No, storyboard's up here, pal.
Okay, right, fine.
Yeah, it's more a case of like having an idea of what needs to happen in the scene, and then just I don't know, just go.
Oh, so you're like Larry. You're one scene to the next.
No, I did write. I mean, you've got
the arc written out,
and it's gone through several drafts. Like for a time, all I could do was look at the script, but now the mist is clearing a little bit. Like we're getting the kid onto a better schedule or more structured schedule, because we were like totally freestyling it to a point, and it was taking a toll. So now we've got very, very set nap times during the day, which I could use to get away and get onto location. But it's always tight, man. It's always bloody tight.
Okay. Well, I'll look forward to that when it finally drops. But
as do
Mercer, it looks very different.
So the Mercer V1's file name was Felix Stratton. This guy is Richard.
This guy's Felix P. Stratton.
Oh man, then they've changed it for these cards. But the file card that the action figure came with, Richard Cecil, is Mercer V2's file name.
Because he's under witness protection.
Good, yeah, I buy that. Or maybe Mercer is a revolving code name. Like they rotated Felix out because, if you are 3 years out of Cobra, all your information is out of date. So this guy's a new defector. He becomes the Mercer.
Wow, I like
that. Maybe.
Now we've finished that 1991. Now we've got a new subset called Patrols, which is just a way for Impel to add more character cards. So here we've got Law. Just boring bastard, this guy, isn't he?
Supersonic. No, these are the Sonic Fighters.
Right? Oh, yes, you're quite correct. Sorry, I didn't see that. Sonic Fighters. Which meant what?
Nothing at all.
He fires. He's got Sonic weapons, or not?
His backpack has little electronic sound effects, which circa 1990 or 1991 were like not even that good.
Okay.
And they came with a bunch of like repressed old weapons. they didn't come with anything that was like, okay, this is a sonic weapon. No.
Right.
Nah, forget about
Okay.
it.
All right. And then we got Tunnel Rat there.
They didn't bother to give him his coloring from this subset.
And is that a weapon? Is that a weapon he had? It looks like quite a big bipoded.
Look, the original Tunnel Rats had like an M60 modified, like a machine gun with a big old scope on the front, and it has sculpted bipod, but the bipod can't swing down or anything. So this is basically like version 1 Tunnel Rat. This is not the Sonic Fighters Tunnel Rat.
Well, he's never met anything underground that could shoot straighter. Now, I don't know what lives underground that fires guns, but he's never met anything that can shoot straighter or bite harder, or run faster than he can. All those things that live underground. So what? Worms,
mole men.
Yeah, none of them can run faster, bite harder, or shoot straighter than this guy.
Excellent. What a joy. The gift that keeps giving.
Dial tone. Another ass shot here for dial tone. Very good.
Showing off that Sonic backpack. And to its credit, that is how it looks, if not how it scales. Because the backpacks were huge. It would actually obscure most of the figure.
Okay. And it had like 6 buttons or 4 buttons? Or was it one button that cycled through all the sounds?
No, mercifully, there were individual buttons. There were 4 buttons, and I think the sound effects were the same for each backpack. So it was the same sound chip.
All right, okay. Once you got one, you got them all.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I only ever owned Law, actually, as it turns out. Okay.
So these days, he doesn't radio headquarters for reinforcements anymore. Well, what if they need reinforcements? Instead, he's using his Sonic backpack to send messages straight at Cobra's front line. And the only thing they hear is, duck.
That's funny. I mean, it's stupid, but it's funny.
Okay. Dodger. Was this the only survivor of Battle Force 2000?
Chief, it's in the name. He's the Dodger. Yeah. He dodged that bullet or gas explosion.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm moving on from him.
Go for it. Oof, more 2 ads. Well,
yeah.
Lamprey's had his ass cropped off, unfortunately.
We got one and we got a tease on the other one. Vipers are probably the only guys who like storming a G.I. Joe frontline and turning tanks into toast with their sonic weapons.
It doesn't look like a sonic weapon to me. And also they've colored him to look like the original Viper. The Sonic Fighter Viper was gold and like red. Bizarre.
Right. And also it says, Vipers are a fast-moving assault force that can stomp trash and... Oh, there's a comma there. I thought it said stomp trash. No. But it actually says stomp, comma, trash, and pulverize any G.I. Joe line of defense. Any line of defense. Why would you bother trying if you were G.I. Joe, if these guys can pulverize you whenever they want? Lamprey. This guy drives the hydrofoil, yeah?
Not in this guy's. Yeah, no, he did. Now he's been demoted to lugging a enormously oversized Sonic Fighter's backpack over land. Of course.
These guys are expert swimmers and incredible seamen. And I almost read that wrong. And can hold their breath for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. Now that is quite a big expanse. I can do 2 minutes. I can do 2 minutes. 5 minutes, probably not. So anywhere from 2 to 5.
It's a mystery.
What it's telling me is I could be a lamprey.
You're an excellent swimmer. Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. I can do butterfly for about 50 meters, and I can hold my breath for 2 minutes.
Yeah, you got me beat.
I like that. I do like that art though on that lamprey. He looks like he's about to do something. Major Blood's doing something here. I like this. I actually like this art a lot here. It does look like he's got jetpack on his left boot, that's firing like a, but it's kind of a Spider-Man-ish pose. I kind of like it. It's just wacky.
It's very
Oh, I see now.
ArmaGEEKdon.
I see underneath the there's two jet nozzles that his jetpack is flying him up in the air. I see now.
Something very awkward about having a jet blast right under your butt like that.
Yeah.
The artist has chosen not to illustrate all the hand grenades that peppered this guy's body.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there were a lot. There were a lot.
Falcon. Not too much of a redesign here, apart from looks like colours. Just changed the green for grey.
Nice. They gave him a bit of like an urban look with this version. He's got like a heli pack, which is awkwardly done in like powder blue. Like both of these guys got like sonic backpacks that were actually mobility devices.
Right.
Like Major Blood had a jetpack,
Yep.
and Falcon had a heli pack. Yeah,
Yep.
fun. Don't hold a candle to their original versions, but
now you talked about Hammerhead earlier. Look at this guy's feed. I mean, they have done some hella work giving this guy a flat top.
Chief,
wow.
Need I remind you the story that Ben loves to tell about how you had a flat top for a time and you looked like Road Pig?
Yeah,
and you were called Blockhead.
Well, it's my first day of school, and in the new school, I was the only kid at the bus stop because my parents lived in the middle of nowhere. It was the last stop before getting to school, so I was the last child to get on the bus on his own. New school. It was a 54-seat school coach. Well, they were called coaches. 54-seat school bus. There was at least 70 kids on the bus, so crammed 3 to every 2 seats. Got on, nowhere to sit, and some big kid at the back of the bus, like 4 years older than me, shouted out, "Look at him, he's got a square head, let's call him Blockhead." And that was my first day of school, age 9. And there you go. What was I doing with a flat top at age 9? I don't know, but anyway,
you were looking odd, man.
So I looked a bit like Road Pig, and I even had blue pants like this and big metal shin pads when I got on the bus. So maybe they were just scared.
Cinder block hammer, of course.
Yeah. That's an interesting artistic impression there. Anything interesting on the back?
Yeah, what's the copy for old Road Pig?
Nothing. Road Pig won't tell you where he got his sonic weapons and backpack. He'll just give you a nasty looking smile and tell you someone was kind enough to give them to him. Considering his arrest record, that's more than just hard to swallow.
The inset image of Road Pig, it looks like he's in one of those, I don't know, Bond death instruments. Like, yeah, totally. Either Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
Or
he gives him the capsule and he blows up.
And then what's the Timothy Dalton one? License to Kill.
Yeah.
Oh, grim. Anyways.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Cheekily, this is just the same version that came with the 2 miniguns, double miniguns, but they just trotted out the same action figure. So yeah, it's basically a color palette swap. It used to be tan on top and green on the bottom. But they ramped up the colors, man. It's gone pretty neon.
Right. Okay.
So the green is deep green, and the tan is no longer tan. It's bright orange.
Okay. All right. Zap. Now he's had an upgrade because he was generic army man. Look at the treads on his boots. Unbelievable.
Does it remind you of an art style? I'm trying to think, like 2000. Yeah, I was about to say 2000 AD. Your wheelhouse, Chief.
Yeah. Nothing interesting.
Nice to see a original 13 guy getting a callback as late as 1991. Like Zap has not been touched since 1983.
Okay, wow.
Yep.
Interesting choice. Psych Out, he looks interesting. There's quite a lot going on there in that image.
Well, if you consider that his first version was kind of weird, I mean, it had like interesting design elements, like the quilted jacket was cool, the bit of tech on the front, but it was weird. It was Lobot with a surfer blonde do.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy looks like Lord Dread. I mean, it's totally teched out. He looks more machine now than man, and I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I mean, the base look is just a blue overall, so he's a shoe-in for Cobra. But then he's got all these technical greeblies. Yeah, this is my favorite Psycho.
Okay, so there you go, your Sonic Fighters. Then we get this subset, which is called Famous Battles. So this is just cover, just not new art. This is actually the cover images, just rescanned. So you've got that first one, which was Lady Doomsday, Dr. Adele Burkhart. Then you've got the one where Cobra kind of assembles the robot down in the base.
The Trojan Gambit.
Trojan Gambit, yep. Then you got what's that one there? Is that an
Operation Wingfield?
Oh, is that what that one is? Oh, yeah. That's the one where Snake Eyes gets his journal out.
Yeah, it's the most arbitrary of the covers, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's very like not canonical G.I. Joe. Like it's kind of generic. Yeah. It could be Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Just reskinned.
And you got the Tanks for the Memories.
Very good.
Quite a fun one. Then you got the October Guard, first appearance of those puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Sea Strike, which was written and drawn by Herb Trimpe.
Yes, excellent.
Which I was a bit down on. I remember when I reviewed that one with Ben, but on reflection, I think I'd like to go back and give that a reread and give it another go, because I think it's a bit more in my wheelhouse now.
I think Herb, really, he knew that he was getting these fillers, and so he packed as much as possible into it. It's like, I've got so many cool ideas, I'm just bursting at the seams. So let's have a story where, when you think it's over, it ain't over. They go to space, and then they go back to Earth, and they take out the Cobra underwater base, and then Cobra Commander is sunk, and then the plane comes out of the sky, and then they shoot the plane, and then it becomes a submarine. It just keeps going. This issue is insane.
Yeah. First appearance of Billy, issue 10, bottom left. Nice cover for 11. I like
Dr.
that one.
Venom. Dr. Venom.
Yep.
And the first time, the Springfield one.
The Springfield one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
I was going to say that. Bloody hell, Chief! Don't move on so quick.
Go on.
No, I was going to say that it was the first time we see Snake Eyes' ninja training, because Dr. Venom does the brainwave scanner, and we see scenes from.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
so,
the brainwave.
People who say that, Larry has come out in an interview recently, and he said that it's in issue 21 that Snake Eyes makes the transition from Commando to Ninja. But I don't know, Snake Eyes always was a ninja. His backstory was entrenched in 10, as early as that.
And after that, issue 10, the brainwave scanner would never appear again. So,
delightful.
or every other issue, one of the two. The pipeline ploy, that's a good one. That's where Destro appears in that storyline, doesn't he?
It does. I'm down on that one. I think it.
No.
It kind of the flavor of G.I. Joe had kind of changed by issue 11. And I mean, it's probably got a lot to do with the fact that was when the next year of toys arrived. So the issue is definitely showing off the wares, the new product for 1983.
Yeah.
But
I do like that cover, that top right one. What's that? That's issue 16, the Battle of Washington DC. I do like that cover a lot. With them fighting, and Cobra Commander's about to shoot one of them, and that's the storyline where they've got these model planes coming in, isn't it? And they're
Night Attack.
They're tricked. Oh, wait a minute! There's not actually real aircraft. That's just model planes.
It's so dark.
And Torpedo's wearing his wetsuit and his flippers inside. Brilliant.
It's baffling. I mean, I can't even begin to come up with an explanation for that.
There you go. Quite dark. quite dark reproduction on that one, but obviously issue 21. That's a lovely one as well. The next one, that's Michael Golden, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
on cover there.
so distinct.
Cobra Commander captured. That's a good one. And then another quite iconic one, the Dreadnought.
Frank Springer internal art on that one. I just remember being a little bit down on it.
Yes,
It has some
I believe so.
pretty rushed looking artwork, particularly like the chase sequence with the cars and like the vamp tumbling down the hill, and there was
I
a
don't think that was
mixer.
Frank Springer. I don't think that was Frank Springer, but
Okay.
I know the issue you mean. Yeah.
Marshall Rogers. No, I'm talking out of my hat.
Not sure. I like that Dreadnoks one. That cover's great. And obviously the next one is Darkness. No, I don't. Darkness is issue 35, I think.
Sorry.
I think.
The other one where the Dreadnoks tear up Sky Strikers.
I could be wrong. And then All Fall Down, yeah, issue 31 or issue 32. That's a little 3-parter, which is really nice, isn't it?
Perfection. Yeah,
I got two of my faves in that, Airborne and Charlie Spirit Iron Knife. Great cover here. Love that one for 33, top left.
Is that Mike Zeck?
The assassination plot. I think so, yeah. Yep. And then one of my all-time favorite issues there. Love that. Very good. Shakedown. Yep. And we got the whale versus the hydrofoil and the asp atoll bit. That's a cool issue. And then introduction of the Crimson Twins. Is this?
Oh, I mean, like, and that was all ships at sea. So that's the one that has.
It's like 3 stories, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But probably the most significant of the 3 is actually the one happening on the Staten Island ferry, like with Scarlet Snake Eyes, because she revisits that location all the time. Yeah, and that turns out to be Wade Collins. Like, who knew?
Yeah.
Like when all Crimson Guardsmen have the same face, or all Fred Crimson Guardsmen have the same face, like you sometimes lose track of who's who. But like, yes, it's the same guy who fell into the Hudson is the guy. It's Wade. It's the guy they left for dead in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Crazy. Small world.
Not in G.I. Joe.
6 degrees of separation from Snake Eyes, or less.
Yeah.
Always. I didn't like Twin Brothers. Did not
I
like
that cover.
Issue.
I like that cover.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a great cover. Love that cover.
Yeah.
In fact, all 3 of these are good covers. But that's the one where they go and rescue Adele Burkhart, isn't it?
For the second time.
The second time they meet Recondo. Yeah. Then we got
the Takaros.
Takaros, that's it. Yeah. And then this is the next 2 are the Battle of Joe Air Sea Base. That
roadblock image, like when I think of a Joe cover, I think that's the one that springs out most vividly.
Right.
That's funny because I never had the issue as a child, but that image just so striking. And I think it was in danger of getting the comic into a bit of trouble because that's pretty close to the camera, pretty close to the viewer. Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to the last subset, which is Fallen Heroes, I guess, or not necessarily heroes, but honor roll, as it says. So
let's count how many of these were resurrected.
Correct. And can you tell me how they died? I quite like the design of this. It maybe looks a bit over-designed because there's a lot going on, but I do kind of like, the gold folded up banner at the top. Then what is this purple thing? I'm trying to look on the card. It looks like it's got a face. It has. It has. It's some sort of eyes and mouth with tendrils. That's weird, man. It looks like Krang, but with kind of snake arms.
So there are 2 snakes on the borders, and then there's a central like snake face, which is but like you say, very busy, and the purple isn't doing it any favors to kind of bring
a
out
bit
the
too
detail.
busy. Probably don't need all those 6 Cobra symbols or the 6 stars at the top, but you know, it's standing out, I guess. Right. So top one, Serpentor, shot dead by Zartan.
Oh yeah.
And then teased the resurrection a couple of times, and then actually resurrected with that giant eyeball thing.
Oh yeah. He was resurrected by the Joes to act as like the control mechanism for their giant mecha.
But then he killed Snake Eyes. Was it him who killed Snake Eyes?
Or Snake Eyes who killed himself trying to save the rest of the Joes? Because I don't know, was he throwing a grenade or?
Does Snake Eyes ever? Does the original Snake Eyes ever return? Like not
yet,
not as in has he yet, but will he ever? Do you think?
Most certainly. I mean, one might argue that he returned in the same issue that he died in, because Wade or Sean Collins as Throwdown immediately takes up the mantle, the training, the history,
the dead person's face.
Yeah, the sweat hadn't even dried from the mask before. Snake Eyes version 2 was picking it up and putting it on. Look,
and does he act almost exactly the same as original Snake Eyes, even to the point of striking up a love relationship with his old lady?
Is this an episode of Talking Joe, Chief? Have you conned me?
Zartan, when did he die?
The freighter, but he didn't die. At this stage, I guess they thought he was dead and staying dead.
Yeah,
but he was brought back.
Okay, so fine. Mindbender, freighter, Raptor, freighter,
and stayed dead.
Well, Raptor, yeah.
No, Mindbender. Well, Raptor, mercifully, I think, has stayed dead, but so has that Mindbender.
Okay.
Because Mindbender, current continuity Mindbender, is a clone of this Mindbender.
Right. Okay. Right. When did that happen? I must have missed that.
It happened because there was a new toy.
Okay, well, I didn't miss it because I've read them all. But
Devil's Due also resurrected Serpentor.
Okay.
Yeah, I read those issues.
Are you rereading the Devil's Due stuff? Yep.
I am.
All right.
Chief, I wasn't going to go on the Talking Joe awards ceremony without. Come on.
Okay, dedication.
Knowledge is power, my friend.
I'm just reading up on Raptor. Is anything interesting here? He was part of a plot to replace Cobra Commander. We knew that. Blah blah blah. No, nothing interesting there. Right. Globulus.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
No, he got stabbed in the eye. What happened to him before Cobra Law blew up? I mean, we never saw the body, so that's the rule, isn't it? Like, if you didn't see a body, chances are the big bad isn't dead.
Okay. Nemesis Enforcer?
Didn't he get chucked down a chasm?
Did these guys were in Tom Scioli's Transformers G.I. Joe?
They were Cobra La.
Yeah.
Royal Guard presumably also went up in smoke when Cobra Law exploded.
Okay. The Crystal Ball, freighter, but not dead. So
yeah, but he.
Oh, actually, was he freighter? No, he wasn't freighter, was he?
We never saw his corpse in the freighter in any of the panels, and he definitely was then resurrected by Larry in the further IDW continuation.
He returned to Cobra La to investigate rumors of revolution and was there when a massive earthquake sealed off the passage to the hidden city. It is unclear whether or not the inhabitants of Cobra La perished in the quake.
This is new information. That's exciting.
It says on the back, birthplace, Cobra La.
Wow. That's strange. Very new information.
But he's obviously come back. So let's just recap quickly on freighter lore. Who went into the freighter and didn't come out? Anyone?
Voltor.
Okay.
Raptor, as we said. Mindbender.
That's probably it, is it?
Yeah.
Because who else was in there that came out? Zartan, Firefly.
Zartan, Billy, Firefly. I think that's it.
Right.
Oh, I kick myself later when I watch this back, and I'm like, you missed so and so and so and so and the other guy.
General Douche. How did he die? Pit 1. Yeah, Pit 1. No, wait a minute. When did he die?
Major Blood gunned him down.
Major Blood gunned him down. Yes.
Yeah, escaping from the sort of G.I. Joe bunker that was standing in place of the pit. Yeah,
that's it. Breaker.
Trucial Abysmia.
Yep.
Saw Viper, wasn't it?
Saw Viper. Quick Kick. Saw Viper.
Yeah, man.
Heavy Metal. Saw Viper.
Very good. I mean, bad, Chief.
Thunder. Saw Viper. Crankcase. Saw Viper. Blocker.
A gigantic explosion.
Gigantic explosion. Avalanche. Same. Same for Blaster. Crazy Legs, dead but not dead. No, dead.
No, it was Sneak Peek who got resurrected. Crazy Legs, also Crucial Abysmia.
That when he ran out. No, when did he die? How did he die?
So some of them were shown on panel, like the Saw Viper gunning them down. Some of them happened between the issues, like the rage tank that they were using to escape exploded.
Okay, all right, fine. Yeah. Maverick and Knockdown, they were part of the Battle Force 2000 blow up. Doc was Saw Viper. Sneak Peek who ran out, got gunned down, dead. Whoops, no, he's not. He's popped up back alive again, which then Larry had to work into some kind of unrealistic plot point.
I had forgotten, but
I say still alive.
Yeah, of course. I'd forgotten, but I was recently reminded that Sneak Peek's code name was reassigned to another guy in Devil's Due, but that guy dies in the same issue he debuts in. So that's a cruel joke. Okay. But like, this is a very ill-fated code name.
Crocmaster, there's another in the freighter.
Yeah, I think you do see his mask depicted in issue 121, I'm going to say.
Right, okay. Firefly in the freighter, but got out of the freighter.
Yep.
Voltar dead body is in the freighter still.
Presumably. Be interesting to see like what had rotten away and what is actually integrated into that optic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get checklists.
We're done, Chief.
That's it.
My goodness. I didn't think we'd make it.
Well.
Congratulations to you, the viewer, for
sticking with us for an hour and a half. Yeah, wow.
Joining us on this epic journey.
I'm
stoked, man. That was great.
Did we learn anything there?
Loads. What are you talking about?
Good. Well, it's worthwhile then. Yeah.
I mean,
was there a reason, do you think, that there was never a series 2? Obviously, poor sales, but they were still cranking out toys in 1992, 1993. So the comic was still going in 1990. Yeah, must have been.
I could be mistaken, but I think the record-selling years for the G.I. Joe toy line were 1986. That was a high watermark of the 80s. And then, like, you're not going to believe it, but like 1991 or 2. I'm gonna say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a resurgence in terms of the toy sales, but like, I don't know. I think things were losing steam to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles big time.
Right.
And then we couldn't put the train back on the rails because G.I. Joe went from being a kind of trend setter to being a trend follower.
Right.
Like you saw how many sub teams there were.
Yeah.
That's the rise of the gimmickry. Like it had to have a sound backpack, or it had to have spring-loaded missiles, or squirt water, or color change battle damage.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. G.I. Joe was winding down, I guess.
But they could, there was, and I said, it's like, any kind of comic-based trading card set, an X-Men set, year one or whatever year it is, you've got your X-Men. The next year there'll be another set, but it's all the same characters again, so there's nothing to say there couldn't have been a GI Joe series 2. It doesn't have to be all new characters. Fine, you can have the 1992 new recruits, but you can still have cards of all your old favorites again, new artists, different poses, but wasn't to be, I guess. But nice to have that set.
I'm almost happy that this does exist as like an oddity. Like there was this 1 year where there was a trading card set.
Yeah.
Maybe it just wasn't high on anyone's radar. Like you said, poor sales. I mean, what function does a trading card set have to someone who's a fan of the G.I. Joe comic book? What function does a trading card set have to someone who's a fan of the toys? I mean, the toys already came with their own blueprints and file cards. Like all the information you could ever want was included in the packaging.
Yeah, and I guess the
fabric of the toys.
I guess the appeal of a lot of the, Marvel and DC comic trading cards was the rotation of different artists or different depictions of the character, which was kind of a draw. But here you've got the same artist doing the whole set, and the artist is
though?
Well, is it though? I don't know.
Very
the artist never credited anywhere. I couldn't even find it online. So I think they've, and this is not trying to disparage the artist, but they've not gone for a big name to try and sell this series. They just kind of banked on, let's just put out a G.I. Joe card set. G.I. Joe fans will buy it. But I wasn't aware of it, until I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago that it existed. So it completely slipped under my radar. And it's a non-essential, but it's not, like you said, it's nice to have as this kind of just this, somewhat weird thing with some funny copy that just showcases.
That's delightful. Look, I'd say in terms of G.I. Joe ephemera, I'd rank this a lot higher than I don't know, G.I. Joe plates and a walkie-talkie set and a squirt gun. Like, trading cards are cool, man.
Yeah.
And they're so kitsch. Have you learned anything new today, Chief?
I
didn't know that bit about Crystal Ball being affiliated to Cobra La. That's new.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I still need you to source some information about G.I. Joe Micro Machines.
Never gonna let it go. Did I lose a bet? Something like that.
I think so. Yeah. But that feels like a lot of desk research and a lot of work, and
There's not much on it.
I'd rather, well, there you go. And I'd rather you invested that time in getting the third part of this trilogy out. So there you go. Listen, thank you for joining me. As always, a pleasure to speak to my main man, Sjubbs7. Keep up the good work, stay fresh. Where can people know you already, but if you're a first-time viewer of this on the ArmaGEEKdon channel and you don't know who Sjubbs is, where can people check out your fine work?
G.I. Joburg, baby. Not G.I. Joburg babies. G.I. Joburg.
Descriptions down below. Links
YouTube,
down below.
Insta, Twitter, all the things.
All that stuff, all that good stuff. Check out Sjubbs, who appeared on a Talking Joe award show special. What was that? That was discussing the first 25 issues of Devil's Due run.
Yeah, squarely lines up with Josh Blaylock's time as the writer.
Yeah. Then go and check out that interview over on the Talking Joe podcast as well, where the guys, Tim, Jay, and Mark, have a chat with Josh Blaylock. Very interesting story there. Came in as a very young guy who'd big aspirations, brought the franchise back effectively, and, bit of a trendsetter for retro revival as a whole, really, for things like Transformers and Thundercats and all that stuff. But anyway, go check that out. You can check me out. I'm also doing a podcast. It's called Gone with the Rewind. Episode, bit of a lapse in publication there, but episode 4 will be coming out in the next couple of days. It is Jingle All the Way. We're discussing that 1996 Arnie. Is it a classic or is it not? We'll find out then with my main man, DJ Booker T. So check that out. That's Gone with the Rewind. And then big news coming in. There is going to be also an Outer Timers audio experience special. Me and Ben are going to be watching and discussing A New Hope in real time. So look for that to be dropping Well, he's got to edit it, so that's probably going to be about a month till he can get around to that. But that'll be coming in a few weeks. And then there's rumours that the Outer Timers may actually be coming back to a bi-weekly schedule as well. So stay tuned for that. But
what do you say to those rumours, Chief? Surely you're in a position to put them down.
He's desperate to do it, and he phoned me last night and he said, "Listen, have a think about it, mull it over. If you want to do it, let's do it." So I think I'll probably tell him yes. So there you go.
Music to my ears, buddy.
There you go. See if we can recapture that magic. But listen, again, thanks to our man Sjubbs7. And remember, next time, make sure you do something. I can't even, what's my send off again? Remember, keep it geek.